Let's talk a little bit about mental attitudes, positive thinking, the power of positive thinking. What's it really mean? And let's just have a general overview of this. I can tell you in general, it's not well understood at all. Positive thinking is gets lost in what I call a false reality. What's a false reality? A false reality is believing something that's not true. So, and being positive about it. When something bad happens, that feeling is that you get and the emotions that you get are real. You got to accept those. You can't just go, oh, it's all for a reason and it's going to happen and be fine. Well, what are you going to do with those emotions? Where do they go? If you're stuck in a false reality, it doesn't work. Positive thinking has to be real and true to oneself. And that's where people get lost, is they misapply it. And the power of it comes from our thoughts and actions, right? So if our thoughts control our actions, that's where the power of positive thinking comes from. Because if you're always thinking about doing something, that's the thing you're going to do. If you're always thinking about the next book you're going to read, you're going to keep reading books. That's simple, right? It's a simple philosophy, but so very true when you try to make sure that you understand the power of positive thinking. And why is it not understood? Well, because it's people use it and think that just being positive means you can be fake. Being fake doesn't make it. I just covered that, right? Um, you don't know how to implement it in your life because it's confusing. Because all of a sudden you're sad and negative, and you're like, man, uh, how do I be positive? And you make something up. Well, that's not really what it is. Is accepting the sadness, accept that, oh, this whole thing sucks. We're going to keep hitting this topic. If something stinks in life, it stinks in life. That's not what positive thinking is trying to do. Is not trying to change that issue or those emotions. It's trying to change the outcome over time of you not getting lost within negativity. Because why is that? Negativity is so much more powerful than a positive thought. Negativity is easy. Positivity requires effort, constant effort. So why it's not well understood is, and why it's so misapplied is because it's harder to be positive than it is to be negative. Negative is easy. Think about social media today. If you go and click on something, every single thing you clicked on now is that same way. And if it's negative, all you hear is negative, negative, negative. It's really hard. I mean, what do you do? Everything's negative. So, what do I mean by this is that being positive is not being stuck in a false reality. And I want to explain this. That's why people think it's fake. And another big issue that people have is the misuse of positive thinking. It really comes down to believing stuff that isn't real. And I guess the best way to describe that is, say someone in your life dies and they're really important to you. It is an emotional, traumatic, awful event. Now, you can't sit there and say everything's going to be okay and not try to deal with your emotions. That just doesn't work. What you have to be able to do is accept, I'm really going through this. This was really bad. I hate it. I don't like it. But where the positive comes in is you're saying, but I'm strong. I'll get over it and I'll get back on track on my life, and I'm going to get there. And I'm not going to let the negative thoughts always continue, but I am going to be able to deal with these emotions, and I'm going to be able to get back on track and back to my life, because that's what the person who has departed really want for us anyway. That's where the power of positive thinking comes from. That's like a life example to try and help illustrate what I'm talking about. And lastly, I have no idea why my thing's not working. Um, let's try to get to the last slide. So Napoleon Hill, way back in 1937, wrote the book called Think and Grow Rich. It's a great book. Um, and he really started a craze on positive thinking. And this craze has really continued through today. And the power of thought is wherever you're focused on most, right? That's what he's saying is, if you are continually focused on something, it's going to come to you. It will happen. You will become it. You will do it. So remember, in general, what Napoleon Hill found out in 1937, and many, many others have wrote about that same action, is our thoughts control our actions, and our actions control our results. So remember that powerful statement. If you get nothing else from this, your thoughts control your actions. Actions control results. You remember that little bit, and you're going to set yourself way ahead of so many others. Thanks. Talk to you next time.